What makes a great character? There isn't one specific way to write a character, but the way to really sell the viewer on why you should care or want to be invested in whatever main or side character is the focus, is to have a central hook right off the bat that keeps you wanting more. Be it an emotional one where a character experiences something traumatic that makes you want to see where their journey will go after that point, an end goal of them becoming the best of their craft. It can be the simplest or most complex hook, but as long as there is a reason to make you care early on, then you'll keep coming back for more. And this is what the anime The Ancient Magus' Bride does a brilliant job with. From episode 1, I was hooked on the idea the series was going with, and that was because of how flawlessly it ropes the viewer in with its central hook, Chisei, and her now master, Elias. Abuse and neglect is something I find anime doesn't do that good of a job with. Many times, characters who experience these types of issues have them swept under the rug in favor of fan service or a cheap joke. But where this series flourishes is how it uses it not for a cheap one-off trick, but as its central main hook. Chisei is a broken character. You could sum her up as a shell that just so happens to be alive. Right off the bat, you can understand given the push she might even end her own life, but in comes a mysterious figure that isn't quite human who buys her from the auction that she is selling herself in just so she can have somewhere to call home, and everything immediately changes. If your series can within minutes showcase the torment in a character's eyes and the hope that it can get better for her, that's enough to make the viewer want to come back for more. On top, it has stunning magical elements all around these characters. The first episode to this series is one of my all-time favorites. It establishes how broken Chisei is and why she is so bound and bent on selling herself like a worthless object. Because she has no family and she just wants a place to be, even if it meant going to someone cruel. The male lead Elias quickly is established not as a really good or bad person, but rather someone you probably can trust enough at least for now, and Chisei will be better off with him than the next guy in line. Has the perfect pacing and flow that really sets it up as you want to see will Chisei enjoy her new life, or will this turn out horribly wrong? I mean, this guy has a skull for a head and definitely isn't human. Will he eat her? Or should I say, try to. One of my favorite styles for characters are these lifeless and almost robotic people who have a reason for being the way they are, be it because they aren't human, or in the case of Chisei, had a very bad childhood that broke them down to who they are now, and you watch them grow into someone who can truly live a life for themselves. Now, many seem to hate this style of writing because why watch a lifeless character that's boring? But given the proper reason early on as to why they are like this, then it becomes an engaging plotline to see where they could go and what type of person they might become. Chisei is the perfect example on how to use this to your story's advantage. The entire drive of this show is watching a girl who's been tormented by spirits and other magical beings all her life, who was abandoned by her family and now seems to have a second chance with a mysterious creature who might be using her for his own gain, but at the same time, seems like he wants to understand humans. Both Elias and Chisei are one and the same in their own way. Chisei is learning to become a mage as Elias' apprentice, someone who starts learning what it means to truly live and to have a purpose in life, but most importantly, learn to know what it's like to have a family. Whereas Elias seems to have no emotions, he is far from a bad guy, but nothing strikes a viewer as he has empathy or is a complex human-like character. Rather, Chisei is someone who might teach him what it means to be human, and possibly she will show him the way to life as he will show her. Chisei is enough to hold the show together, but because Elias isn't just this side character, but rather one just as important as her, the series is really able to show the ups and downs, but also the many similarities between the two and the struggles of maintaining this relationship. And Elias is used brilliantly in the second half of the series to really show what happens to a creature who does start having human emotions and how animal-like instincts interfere with these feelings. How would a creature such as him deal with emotions such as jealousy? You just don't get to see this kind of writing often. This series isn't even over as of the recording of this video, but the first half of the series alone warrants all the praise I give it, with the current episodes in the second half being even better than some of the best episodes in the first core. Wit Studio adapted this series so beautifully with its gorgeous visuals, from stunning backgrounds to swift and polished animation, and character designs that just make you so damn happy. But the way this flows in terms of its story and characters is what makes this such a masterpiece in my eyes. The early episodes establish who and what Chisei is, a powerful being that naturally attracts other magical elements towards her, but this also causes her misfortune for her and those around her. You quickly know what Elias is and where the two's relationship will go, as well where the two's personal struggles and growth will lead them, and both get the time they need to flourish. And without beating around the bush too much, Chisei at the proper pace starts learning to live her life for her own reasons, making her own decisions, and truly starts to becoming a person, as does Elias thanks to Chise. It's rare to find a show that from the first few minutes grabs you and makes you want every episode immediately, but it's even rarer to find a show that week after week continues to deliver everything that you were hoping it'd give you from the very first episode. I've seen many claim Chise is a damsel in distress, always getting caught up into trouble for no reason, but within the intro episodes, it establishes why that happens to her. She is a slay beggy, someone who is the ultimate magical force, a rare entity but an untrained one that makes her live a life that is no different than a curse, that will always cause her and those around her misfortune. So of course, she naturally attracts danger, and this is a common element in the series. On top, she solves many of these issues by herself, especially in the second half due to her character growth. So when a show immediately tells you the ins and outs and then 10 weeks later people forget basic information, I tend to say that their criticism usually isn't criticism, but rather a short attention span. If you haven't started this gem yet, you owe it to yourself to watch it. To have a world so rich in detail, not just from the visuals but the world building as well, to central and side characters that make you excited to see more, and a weird romantic-like relationship that you want to root for just because love does come in all shapes and sizes. There's no better spot to stop at than the Ancient Magus' Bride. If you are watching or have completed this wonderful gem, let me know what you think of it down in that comment section below. And before you leave, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you like what you see here and you want to help support what I do for as little as $1 a month, then also consider heading on over to my Patreon. So until next time everyone, please take care and you all have a good one.